Here is a more detailed, atmospheric rewrite with no headings and no reuse issue phrasing. I preserved your tone, pacing, and emotional tension while expanding imagery, interior thought, and sensory details. My neighbor's voice cracked through the night like something brittle snapping in half. Tell your daughter to keep quiet. She's so noisy during the day. For a second, I didn't move. I was halfway up the stairs, keys still in the lock, the cold metal biting the inside of my palm. The hallway light buzzed overhead, that thin electric hum that always made the walls feel too narrow. I turned toward her slowly. Her face was stiff, mouth tight, eyes set in that kind of certainty that leaves no room for contradiction. I don't have a daughter, I said. Her expression slipped. Only for a moment, like a curtain pulled back then snapped shut again. She muttered something about thin walls, about people being inconsiderate, and slammed her door so hard the frame shivered. The silence afterward wasn't clean. It pulsed with something sour, something that lingered in the air as I climbed the rest of the stairs. I told myself it was nothing, that neighbors project their loneliness in strange ways. Yet that night, lying awake in the dark, the apartment didn't feel like mine. Every sound felt too sharp. The pipes clanked like footsteps. The wind pressed against the windows like a breath. The house settled, but too slowly, too deliberately. And then, around 2 a.m., I heard it. A laugh. High-pitched. Quick. A child's laugh inside my home. I sat up, heart thudding so hard I could hear it in my teeth. I waited, every muscle stiff, but nothing followed. No footsteps, no whisper. Just that stale, trembling silence again. The next morning, I forced myself through routine, coffee that tasted burnt, work emails that blurred together, co-workers' voices floating like static. But every time my phone lit up, the neighbor's words echoed back at me, slicing through the dullness. Tell your daughter to keep quiet. I went home early. The moment I stepped inside, unease crept over me like a shadow stretching across the floor. The apartment didn't feel lived in. It felt arranged, staged for someone else. The bed was made differently than I ever made it. The corners tucked too tightly. The pillows angled just so. And the scent, vanilla, faint but sweet, clung to the curtains like fingerprints. He was in the shower. Steam rolled under the bathroom door. When I asked, "Did anyone come by today?" he didn't pause, didn't hesitate. "No." "Why?" he added, easy tone, too easy. Years together had taught me the way his voice bent when he wasn't telling the whole truth. The way he inhaled before lying, the tiny break in his rhythm. "No reason," I told him, smiling. But I saw it, the flicker across his face, the hitch in his breath before he turned away. Later that night, when he thought I was asleep, I heard him whispering in the living room. His voice low, soft, the kind of tenderness he used to use with me. "Don't worry. She doesn't know." The words slid cold down my spine. Morning came heavy, metallic. When I bent to pick up a charger that had slipped beneath the couch, I saw it. A small pink hair clip. Cheap plastic molded into the shape of a bow. I turned it over in my hand, letting the edges press into my skin until my fingers went numb. It didn't belong to me. Something inside me crystallized then, still, sharp, patient. I began to move differently. Controlled. Measured. Each morning I left for work at my usual time, then circled back 15 minutes later and parked down the street where I could watch the windows. Sometimes he opened the blinds halfway, sometimes all the way, sometimes not at all. Each variation felt like a coded message I wasn't supposed to decode. Once, I caught a glimpse of him through the glass. He was kneeling, smiling, holding something or someone just out of sight. My stomach twisted hard. I started checking his phone. He was careful but not perfect. Deleted messages. Disguised numbers. One saved under delivery. The messages were short, soft, playful. "Can I come over today? I miss you." "She's mean." I told myself someone was messing with him, that it was some elaborate scam. But deep down, I already knew the shape of the truth. I bought a small recorder and slid it beneath the bed, tucked against the metal frame. 2 nights passed quietly. On the third, the laugh returned. And his voice warm, almost melting. Shh, you'll wake her. My pulse slowed to something precise. Like my body had shifted into another version of itself. Cold, accurate, no wasted movement. The next morning, I told him I'd be gone for a long meeting. He kissed me goodbye. I kissed him back. Then I waited under the bed, in the dust and darkness, still as stone. Early afternoon, the front door opened. Light footsteps. A soft breath. Then his voice. Hey, sweetheart. Did you miss me? And another voice answered. Not a child's at all. A woman's. Young. Fragile. Intentional. I was quiet. She didn't hear me last time. I told you she wouldn't. Their laughter drifted through the room, overlapping gently, like fabric folding over itself. When the bed creaked above me, I felt nothing but the weight of the truth pressing slowly against my ribs. After they left, I crawled out. The sheets were rumpled, warm, scented with vanilla. I sat there for a while, hands steady, mind clear. Then I gathered everything, every message, every recording, every photo, and printed them in clean, crisp lines. No shaking, no anger, just facts. He poured wine at dinner, smiling like routine could erase reality. Told me I looked tired. I slid the envelope toward him. He opened it. Color drained from his face as he flipped through the pages, each one pulling a thread from whatever story he'd told himself. How long have you known? He whispered, voice cracking. Long enough to see who you really are. He reached for me. I leaned back. I heard her, I said softly. Under the bed. He froze. Something inside him collapsed, but not from guilt. From exposure. From realizing I'd watched him, listened, waited, without reacting. He'd mistaken silence for ignorance. I stood, collected my coat, and left him sitting there with the envelope and the untouched plates and the hollow echo of his own choices. I didn't cry. I drove until the city melted into open road and dark fields. Past the last stretch of highway, I rolled the window down. The air was cold, sharp, honest. I thought about the laugh I'd heard, the one I'd mistaken for a child's. Maybe it wasn't her that haunted me. Maybe it was some younger version of myself, still believing, still hoping. Now, there's only quiet, and I've learned to prefer it, because truth never shouts. It whispers. And once you finally hear it, you never confuse that sound again. Thanks for reading. Like, share, and comment. Subscribe to Cheating Stories Insight World for more stories like this one. If you'd like, I can make it darker, more emotional, more suspenseful, or remove the final thanks for watching style ending.